Good evening. Welcome to the Costa Mesa Planning Commission meeting for Monday, July 26, 2021. I call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Zick to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Commissioner Zick. Julie, roll call, please.
Chair Dirical,
Here.
Vice Chair Torje,
Here.
Commissioner Arith,
Present.
and please note that Commissioner Arith is present via Zoom. Commissioner Russell,
Here.
Commissioner Toller,
Here.
Commissioner Zick.
Here.
Thank you very much. We have no announcements or presentations this evening on tonight's agenda. This brings us to public comment. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on items within its purview, jurisdiction, but not on tonight's agenda. So these are items not on tonight's agenda, but are items that are within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Ms. Colgan, do we have any public commenters on Zoom or by telephone?
No, we do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any members of the public wish to speak on public comment tonight? Again, these are on matters not on the agenda. Okay, seeing no one come forward, I'll close public comment. This brings us to Planning Commissioner comments. We'll begin this evening with Commissioner Toller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one comment. I think our city engineer will maybe be telling us about this later, but the concert in the park is this Saturday. And one very important detail is we will be having a pop-up protected bike lane to the concert. So if you're like me, you've been there lots of times, you notice there are a ton of bikes locked up. Lots and lots of bikes. And I always wonder when I'm walking down Placentia how all those bikes got there, that skinny little bike lane. But this year, we're responding to that demand, and parking's normally difficult too. So we're doing what seems needs to be done and providing a comfortable way for more people to get there in more spatially efficient ways. And I think that is really cool. I believe it's going to be from Adams to Victoria, so that captures a lot of neighborhoods, Mesa Verde, a lot of the west side. If you can get to Placentia and Victoria, you could funnel yourself right into that protected bike lane. So there'll be cones set up, and it makes me proud to be a Costa Mesa, because other cities aren't doing this sort of thing, even though we're in Orange County, and we should be doing this sort of thing. It could have been easy for us as a city to say, we don't have enough cones, there's not enough people asking for it, it's too hard. But we're doing it, and I think that's really cool. So super excited about that. Kudos to our city staff, and shout out to you guys. Thank you guys a lot for that.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Toller. In fact, take some photos because I will want to see that next meeting. I'd like to see how that works. That'll be great. Commissioner Russell.
I just want to acknowledge the work that the staff did on putting together the grand opening of the community center and Lions Park. It was a great day from the time that they opened it up until we got to watch Charlotte's Web after dark. So after all of the years of planning, to see it come to fruition was wonderful. So thank you to all of you, the staff that put that together.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Russell, very much. I agree. It was a wonderful event, the opening of the Norma Herzog Community Center. Library is open, and there are outdoor events now at the 1 acre park next to the library. So I would encourage the community to check the city website for events at that venue. Commissioner Zick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just two small requests when we get to it in the agenda. If, as part of the Public Services Report, if we could hear a short update on the Adams Avenue Improvement Project. The website shows final design being complete spring of this year. I don't know if that's happened, and if it has, what are the next steps? And then as part of the development services report, I'd be interested if we could get a brief update on the small cell site construction. We approved a lot of applications. I believe a lot of permits may have been pulled. I haven't seen any construction, so I'm kind of curious what's going on with that. And that's all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Zick. Those are good questions. Commissioner Arith.
Thank you, Chair DeAricol. I don't have any comments at this time.
All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Vice Chair Torje.
Thank you, Chair. A few folks have asked how my mom is doing, who was diagnosed with COVID a couple weeks ago after being vaccinated, and she's doing well. And so thank you for everyone for your concern, and I just continue to say stay safe and also stay open and support your local businesses at the same time. Commissioner Zick, I'm so glad that you brought that up. I had actually emailed the chair a couple weeks ago and said, what happened with all those permits that had been requested for the small cell, for those small cell permits? And so it would be great to get an update. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no comments tonight, so that will take us to the consent calendar. In the agenda tonight, we have no matters on the consent calendar, so we'll go to public hearings. And Julia, I'll ask you to read public hearing item number 1, please.
Public hearing item number 1, planning application 21-04 for conditional use permit to allow a microblading use similar to a tattoo use at 1525 Mesa Verde Drive East, Suite 213. Please note that we have not received public comments on this item. This is a call to report any ex parte communications.
Commissioners, any ex parte communications to report? Seeing none, I have none. We'll turn it over to Mr. Arias then.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Commission. Justin Arias, Associate Planner in the Development Services Department. The item before you is Planning Application 21-04, a request for a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a microblading use with ancillary classes at 1525 Mesa Verde Drive East, Suite 213. The project site is located in the Mesa Verde Plaza on Mesa Verde Drive East. The site is developed with a 1- and 2-story multi-tenant commercial building, and existing uses in the plaza include restaurants, offices, medical offices, and fitness and art studios. The property is zoned C1, Local Business District, and has a general plan land use designation of general commercial. The proposed use is for a microblading studio, which is a cosmetic procedure that enhances the appearance of the eyebrows. The proposed uses would operate within Suite 213, with proposed hours of operation being by appointment only on Mondays through Saturdays between the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. As described in the applicant letter, the use would typically serve 3 clients daily, due to the appointments being approximately 2 hours long, and with the inclusion of a 15-minute gap between appointments to allow cleaning and sanitizing of the workstation. The applicant is also proposing to teach ancillary microblading courses in the future. These courses are proposed as 5-day courses that would run Thursdays through Saturdays and are anticipated to occur once every couple of months. Initially, the class sizes will be one-on-one trainings, but will have a maximum cap of 5 students with only 1 instructor. In addition, there will be no concurrent client appointments during the duration of course sessions. The proposed microblading use is not a use specifically listed in the city's zoning code or land use matrix. Code does allow for uses not listed in the land use matrix to be reviewed and processed based on a similar listed use. Tattoo parlors require approval of a conditional use permit in the C1 zone. The location of the proposed microblading use is in a diverse commercial center, including retail, dining, medical office, and other miscellaneous service uses. Parking impacts are not anticipated from the proposed use. Required parking for the proposed use is the same as other commercial and retail uses. The police department has reviewed the project and has no objections to the application. Furthermore, conditions of approval have been included to ensure the proposed use operates with minimal impact on adjacent properties. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to find the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, and approve planning application 21-04, subject to conditions of approval. That concludes my presentation, and the applicant has a brief presentation prepared as well.
Great, thank you, Mr. Arias. Commissioners, any questions of staff? You can punch your mic and let me know if you want to. Okay, I have just a quick couple. And maybe this is a question the applicant asked if staff doesn't know. So is this particular service was similar to a tattoo service? Is there any state licensing requirements for that?
That would probably be a question for the applicant.
Okay, and then the other question is, I noted in the application, apart from the service provided, anticipates also providing training, which strikes me as another use, an educational use or training use. I'm assuming this is a use that's allowed, obviously, in that zone and that.
Yes, it is. We are viewing more as an ancillary part of the main business, because he would be teaching essentially how to do his use.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I have no additional questions, so we'll ask the applicant to come forward.
Hello,
Actually, I will open the public hearing too. There you go.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Ramsey Hussein, and I am the owner of Ram Studios, the Microblading Academy, and I have a little presentation that I put together for you guys to kind of get an idea of what microblading is. All right, so what is microblading? A lot of people don't know what microblading is, as it is pretty new. It's getting more popular throughout the states. Microblading is basically a semi-permanent cosmetic procedure that enhances the appearance of natural eyebrows. Microblading has been around for about 25 years and has originated in Asia, although it has been gaining rapid popularity here for the last 5 years or so, so it is getting more trendy and more up and coming here. All right, next slide. This is a brief little photo of me actually creating the incisions into the eyebrow and depositing ink to kind of give you guys a visual of like what I'm going to be doing. And here are just a few before and after photos of my clients to kind of give an idea of like the impact of what microblading can do for the eyebrows, the confidence, and the face of the client. So microblading actually lasts anywhere between 18 to 30 months. Annual touch-ups are recommended as you want to maintain the results. It is not an actual tattoo where it's deposited deep enough into the skin where it's going to kind of last a whole lifetime. It's more so artificial down to the 5th layer of skin. So about 18 months to 30 months is like the lifetime of your tattoo. Next. All right, so how can my business aid in economical growth? So due to the cost and rising popularity, microblading has become a very lucrative business. So me personally, I charge $500 for a set of eyebrows. So I would love to offer the opportunity like I was offered to basically have someone become their own boss in a business in something that they're passionate about, in which they can help others and help themselves and their family as well. Next. This is a photo of me with some of my students from last year. I was training in Beverly Hills with actually the person that taught me microblading. So I've actually already trained about 40 students so far in the last 2 years. So I'd like to bring this here to Costa Mesa to kind of start this whole up and coming trend in Costa Mesa and offer this opportunity to people here as well. So in conclusion, microblading allows people to feel more confident and requires minimal effort when getting ready throughout the day. It'll aid in economical growth to not only myself, the community, and the city as well. And it will also help my training sessions for those who would like to pursue a career in microblading, and it can allow for more opportunities for employment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So I have a quick question. So about the question I asked staff, is this a licensed service that you have to have a license through the state of California to do it?
The licensing that you'll need is the bloodborne pathogen licensing, since we are dealing with blood. So you do have to renew that one yearly, but that's pretty much the only licensing that you'll need through the state.
Okay. And well, I appreciate the fact that you want to train new folks. I think that's great as a career path for them. Do you anticipate any of these students ever coming to work with you where you would have more than one person doing this, or you're doing more than 3 customers a day?
As of right now, my plans are to keep it for myself. I don't want to really include anyone else in there quite yet. Although in the future, I am open to expanding my business and maybe having employees in the future. But as of right now, it's going to be just me.
Okay, and I noted that in your site plan you have 5 beds for, I'm assuming the 5 are for the training and not for, if you're having 3 a day, you're going to use essentially.
Yeah, no, I'll be using 1 bed specifically for myself. And I actually did cut it down to just 4 beds now, just because I changed up the layout just a bit. So there are 4 beds. That'll just be for the training, and then it'll just be me with 1 bed at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you read the staff report this evening and the conditions of approval, and do you agree with the conditions of approval?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Commissioners, any questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I will open public comment. If there's anyone wishing to speak to this item, please either come forward to the podium or raise your hand on Zoom or hit *9 on the telephone. Ms. Colgan, do we have any public speakers?
None through Zoom, Chair.
Okay. Anyone, member of the public? Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Hi, I'm just curious, how did you decide to land in Costa Mesa? Do you live in the area, and do you?
I do. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome, I was curious. And do you have another location? Is this your first location?
This is my 3rd location.
So the public can't hear the dialogue between the two of you, so we can, you can ask us and we'll ask him if we have him come back up. Yeah.
Do you want me to do that again?
No, you can actually, after the meeting, sit and talk with him and ask him all those really good questions. Thank you very much. Okay, I will then close the public comment and ask if there's any questions of staff before we close the public hearing. Nope. Okay, close the public hearing. Bring it back up to the floor and ask the commission if there's a motion. And please hit your motion button, make a motion button. Don't see anyone yet. Okay. Okay, I will make a motion to find that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act per CEQA Guidelines Section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities and approved planning application 21-04 subject to conditions of approval. Is there a second? Please hit the second button. Seconded by the Vice Chair. Any comments on the motion? Okay, Julie, we'll do a roll call vote, please. We have to do a voice vote because Commissioner Arith is on Zoom.
Chair Jericho?
Aye.
Vice Chair Torjay?
Aye.
Commissioner Arith?
Aye.
Commissioner Toller? Commissioner Russell?
Aye.
Commissioner Zick?
Yes.
That motion carries 6-0.
Okay, and that decision is final unless appealed to the City Council within 7 days. Mr. Hussein, good luck with your business. Welcome to Costa Mesa. Okay, that is our only public hearing tonight. We have no old business, no new business. That brings us to departmental reports. We'll begin with public services. Mr. Yang.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Derickle and honorable members of the Planning Commission. Good evening. So our public services report is as follows, as Commissioner Toller has alluded to. This Saturday on July 31st will be the concert in the park. It's going to be at Fairview Park at 2525 Placentia Avenue. So it's going to be a very great get-together in which the schedule of events includes 3 bands, pre-show activities, the mariachi band, Jasmine Fields and Tijuana Dogs also be performing. So it's a great event for the family. So it's something that's wholeheartedly recommended for people to join and be festive about. So once again, the concert in the park is this Saturday, July 31st at Fairview Park. So in addition to that, for Commissioner Zick's question with respect to Adams Avenue, the latest update is that we're planning on September 7th, the City Council meeting, to bring to the City Council the establishment of the Underground Utility District, UUD, for the Edison light poles and so on, that we're requesting to be undergrounded. So that's the current status as for the Adams Avenue project. And in terms of that, our staff is waiting on the design in terms of the outcome of that UUD decision by the City Council. We have some preliminary designs, but until we get a handle on the direction on the underground utility district, we haven't decided to move forward on that. But the thing is, once we get the clearance about the establishment of the underground utility district, we're going to move forward on the design. The thing is that for the undergrounding utility district, it takes close to maybe 4 to 5 years to establish. So we're in the process of deciding what kind of preliminary designs we might do if it takes that long, or something that we can design in the interim. So that's the current status as for the Adams Avenue project. So that being said, just once again, we had a great event, as Commissioner Russell has mentioned, about the grand opening for the Norman Herzog Community Center and also the Lions Park projects. And the thing is we had former Mayor Herzog on Zoom, so that was a great event too. So we had a ball in terms of having a good time, in terms of having that great facility open to not just all of us, but for the entire surrounding community outside of Costa Mesa as well. So that's it for my public services reports, and I hand it back to the chairperson.
Thank you, sir. Development Services Report, Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to give a brief update this evening as to the status of some of our ADU applications. I know that was a topic of interest to this commission, and you all gave your feedback on the ordinance, and ultimately the ADU ordinance was approved by City Council earlier this year. So in terms of the number of applications for ADUs received, in 2020 we received approximately 50 applications for ADUs, and so far this year, just in the first 6 months, we've received 53. So we've really seen an increase in interest in ADUs and ADU applications. Of course, number of ADUs constructed lags a little bit. Sometimes they're constructed in the fiscal year they're applied for, and sometimes it follows. So actual ADUs constructed will be something that trends over a few years. But we'll be coming to this commission and just reporting periodically on the status of ADU construction in Costa Mesa. So my next update is on the housing element. That was something raised by the commission at the last meeting, so I wanted to give just a brief update. The last time we were all together, it was the Planning Commission and City Council study session, and we received some feedback specifically from the Council and the Planning Commission as to just overall housing opportunity sites, housing opportunity corridors, and just areas of interest in the city. So the Council and Commission were very supportive of multiple areas of the city to look for additional housing in the future. So at this point, what we've been doing is finishing up our technical analysis. There's a number of analyses that we need to do to articulate to HCD the feasibility of housing opportunity sites. So we're finishing that up. And we had originally, we're also finishing up the policy program, which is the next big component of the housing element. So what we had intended to release the draft housing element at the end of this month. It's taking us a bit longer, just a few more weeks longer than we expected. So we do anticipate releasing the draft housing element to the public in August. We will also have a community meeting, a town hall meeting, to receive public feedback, and then of course feedback can be submitted in writing via email or in a number of different ways. Following the public review period, we'll be submitting our draft housing element to HCD for their review, and then ultimately bringing it forward to the Planning Commission and City Council for public hearings, which is again another opportunity for the public to give their feedback. So that's my update as to next steps. At our next meeting, I'll be continuing to give updates on the housing element at each Planning Commission meeting and as we continue to move forward. And then as to Commissioner Zick's question regarding small cell facilities, we actually, there were a number of small cell facilities that came to this commission and were approved. Some of them were appealed to the City Council and then ultimately withdrawn when the staff brought forward the updated small cell wireless facility ordinance. Some of those that were approved at the commission are still continuing to move forward, but after commission approval, there's the encroachment permit phase, and actually the step that seems to take the longest is coordination with Southern California Edison for installation of those facilities on light poles. On average, that tends to take 9 months from what we're hearing from applicants, and sometimes a little bit longer. So I think that accounts for most of the lag that we're seeing, but there were several that were just withdrawn and ultimately may reapply under the new ordinance. Happy to give them a more quantitative update at our next meeting, but that's my update for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Commissioners, any questions of Ms. Lee at all? Okay. City Attorney report, Mr. Preziosi.
Chair DeArcol, we have no report tonight.
Okay. I would just, as I usually do from time to time, sir, ask that we continue to monitor Sacramento, particularly SB 5, 6, 9, and 10, which are being closely watched. So we know potentially what we may be dealing with, or even if the commission wants to communicate something to either the council, via the council of the state. But those are very important pieces of legislation that have the ability to significantly impact zoning and development in the city of Costa Mesa. So, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. That concludes this evening's business. We will stand in adjournment until the regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting for Monday, August 9th, 2021. Good evening.